Now, you may have heard that the Panama Golden Visa takes about 3 months. Alright, so good morning everyone and welcome to Ben's session. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the full timeline of the Panama Qualified Investor Program, basically from the very beginning, when you start the process, all the way until you receive the permanent resident card. Now, overall, if the process moves forward smoothly and all required documents are prepared and submitted properly, the average timeline is generally estimated at around 3 months from the initial onboarding stage to the issuance of the final resident card. However, this should be understood as an estimate only and not as a guaranteed timeframe. In practice, every case is different, and the actual timeline may vary depending on factors such as document readiness, compliance, and due diligence review, and the processing conditions of the relevant Panamanian authorities at the time. With that clarification in mind, let us now go through the process step by step. First, we start with the onboarding. This is where you will provide the initial documents, and the legal team does the first review of the file. At this stage, we basically set up the case and starting the initial compliance checks. If you already have everything prepared, this step can move quite fast, sometimes just 1 or 2 days. Right after that, the legal package is issued. This is a very important part of the process. You will receive the core documents such as the power of attorney, the proxy, the purchase agreement, the just paperwork, and the investor agreement. These documents basically define the entire structure, both the investment side and the immigration side. So at this point, you will review everything and proceed to sign. So at this stage, this document, especially the power of attorney, will need to be signed and authenticated. This step is important because it's where the signing is officially verified, making sure everything is legally valid. And most importantly, that the legal team in Panama is fully authorized to act on your behalf. After that, scanned copies are submitted first, and then the original documents are sent to the legal team. Now, this part is important because of the certain steps, especially related to the trust and the investment. The original copies are required. Then, we move into the trust onboarding stage. At this point, the investor is onboarded into the Panamanian trust structure. This includes compliance checks, KYC, AML, all of that. Once the trust is certified and everything is approved, then the investor is clear to proceed with the investment. And that brings us to the investment transfer. This is really one of the key milestones in the whole process. Once the trust confirms everything, the investor is instructed to transfer the funds. Now, the timing here can vary quite a bit depending on banking procedures and especially the source of funds. So this is one of the areas where delays can happen. Once the investment is received, we move into the coordination stage. At this point, the investor is connected with an immigration lawyer in Panama. So at this stage, they will guide you through the civil document requirements, basically what documents are needed and how to get them properly legalized and apostilled, and so on. So this step is really about making sure the immigration file is fully ready before submission. Then we move into application submission. The lawyer will submit the investment certificate to the Ministry of Commerce and Industries. And once that's done, the permanent resident application can be filed for both the investor and their family. After submission, the case enters the official government processing stage. This usually takes about 1 month. During this time, the authority reviews the application. Now, if you decide to travel to Panama during this period, there is optional step where they can obtain a temporary card. But again, this is optional, not required. Towards the end of the process, we may have biometrics. If you are in Panama, the biometric appointment is scheduled, and in practice, in many cases, biometrics and resident card issuance can happen very quickly, within 7 days. But again, this depends on the case. Finally, once everything is approved, the permanent resident cards are issued. And this is actually one of the biggest advantages of the Panama program. You go straight to the permanent resident. There's no temporary stage in between, which makes the whole process much more straightforward compared to many other countries. So if you look at the full picture, the process flows from onboarding, legal documentation, authentication, just onboarding, investment transfer, coordination with lawyers, application submission, government processing, biometrics, and finally, resident approval. Overall, the timeline is around 3 months, but again, every client will have a slightly different timeline. Delays can happen because of documents, shorter funds, banking procedure, or government processing, and that's completely normal in this type of process. So if you're wondering how long your own case may take, it really depends on your specific situation. And if you want a clearer, more accurate timeline, feel free to reach out to MCA Merkin Asia. We can walk you through your case step by step and give you a much more personalized estimate. Thanks for watching. I'm Benjamin. Follow me and I will see you in the next video.